Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to rank all the Bankais in Peroxide Update 1. So as you guys may know, there's a bunch of Bankais, and a lot of people might be asking what are the best elements or Bankais to use. So today I'll be ranking all of them, and let's get started. So first up we have the S tier. So in the S tier we have the best Bankais. So in my opinion, the best Bankai in the entire game right now is Glacier. So Glacier is just insanely OP. It has high damage, large AoE attacks, and has huge potential for combos and much more in PvE and for PvP. And this alone just makes it insanely OP because no other Bankais can barely touch that. That's why Glacier is in the S tier. Next up, we have Lightning. So Lightning is pretty decent, has some decent damage, and has some really good stun and combo moves. So that's why that's actually one of the best, because you can actually go crazy in PvPs and stuff. Which is why that's in the S tier. And yeah, next up we have probably the best Bankai for 1v1s, and that is Fire. Fire does immense amounts of damage, and it also has a burn damage effect that also deals a lot of damage. And you could just melt HP, and there's just one combo that's one YouTuber posted, and you could just destroy people completely with the Fire Bankai, and that's why it's really good. That's why I definitely recommend using that. So next up we have the A tier, and the first Bankai of the A tier is Clone. And though Clone is pretty good and it has some pretty OP clones, I'm very disappointed in its health decrease. Because due to the fact that you have multiple clones, you actually have less HP, and this therefore makes it easier for other people and other NPCs to beat you. But you do more damage, so that's why it's pretty decent at that. And that's why I'd put that in the A tier. Next up, we have Gravity. So Gravity is actually a pretty decent Bankai, and I would definitely recommend using it if you can't obtain Fire, Glacier, or Lightning. And this is because it has a pretty OP domain expansion. And when I say domain expansion, you can basically create a safe space, and this is super OP in modes such as Gladiator and other PvP modes where you can just create a safe space, and you can just use that to protect yourself and use it for increased damage and combos in PvP. And that makes it pretty OP, and it's pretty much, in my opinion, like a PvP Bankai, and I definitely wouldn't recommend using it for actual grinding or anything. But yeah, those are all the Bankais in the A tier. So next up we have the tier B Bankais, and these are the worst Bankais in the game, and if you have these, just reroll them, because I wouldn't recommend using them at all. And the first one we have is Wind. So in my opinion, Wind is pretty bad, but if you know how to use it, it can actually be super OP. Because it has some pretty low damage, but its combos can actually be pretty deadly at times. So that's why I definitely recommend using that if you can't obtain Glacier or Lightning. Because Glacier has the freeze, has very large AoE, very large damage, and that's why you should definitely use that. And then the final Bankai of the day is Explosion. And Explosion is not good because it kind of has some low damage and all its moves can be easily dodged. So if someone lets off an explosion move, it's pretty easy to block, and you could basically just dodge it anytime you want. So that's one weak side of the Bankai, and that's why it would probably be the worst Bankai out of all the Bankais in the game. But besides that, there's nothing really wrong with Explosion. But yeah, those are all the Bankais ranked in Peroxide. Let me know what other videos you want. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.